I'm Zach. I'm a nerd. I've been making trading card games since I was 8 years old, and I'm now 27 with an art degree, a career in product design, and a semi-successful indie trading card game. But I'm taking everything I've learned and putting my current game aside to create a new TCG, starting from nothing and ending with, I guess we'll see. Welcome to a TCG from scratch. So, where to start? Well, the reason I'm doing this is because I've been making Chaos Galaxy, my current trading card game, for 8 years. And in those 8 years, I've learned a lot more about game making. And from year one, I've spotted problems within the game that I'd like to change. But once you start making a TCG, once you've made a few cards, you can't really change the rules because certain cards won't work. So I've had thoughts going through my head in all this time, but I don't have any rules written down or any artwork done. But I guess I can start with those things I don't like about my current game and start making rules that implement them for this new game. So, the first thing I don't like about Chaos Galaxy and a lot of other TCGs is keeping count of stuff. Whether it be life points in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or points or stars in Chaos Galaxy, you've got to keep track of two things like your points and then this resource. And having to do that, I think, pulls you out of the game a lot. So I want to eliminate that entirely from this game. Point number two is the element of luck. Now, luck in TCGs is a weird thing because you're building your own custom deck to kind of eliminate luck as much as possible. And this has become a problem in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's got to the point now where if you draw one card in your first hand, like, you've pretty much won the game, and there's very little luck involved. So I want luck to be an element of the game. I want you to, yes, be able to build a strong deck that can beat an opponent, but I also want an underdog to say there's dice involved. If they roll a 6 and get lucky, they can win this game. I've been playing a lot of board games in the last 5 years or so, and Settlers of Catan, I think, is my favorite, and that relies a lot on dice and it makes the game really fun. And the third thing is I want there to be some kind of balancing mechanic. I've been playing a lot of a board game recently called Quacks of Quedlingberg, where it's kind of luck based. Like, there's 9 rounds to this game, and at the start of every round, the losing player will get like a bonus above the other players. And it kind of keeps the game really tight and exciting. And normally in the last round, the 9th round, you still won't know who's going to win the game. And it almost makes you question if like winning the first few rounds is even a good idea. So I think that's kind of a cool element. And then the fourth thing I guess we need to talk about is art and the style of the game. But that just feels like too big of a thing to even approach now. Once I get the rules down, I think I'll figure out if it's like a playful game that wants playful art or like a serious game that wants more serious art. So those are my starting points. I'm gonna try and have a look for some inspiration. So inside this box is every old trading card game I made, starting with the first version of an old game, Little Dudes, which I made when I was 8 years old. And they're just not really gonna help with finding rules at all. I've got some older ones. This was Mini Menaces, which was just kind of like top trumps. Don't think that's super useful. Although I do like something in the simplicity of just, if you lose all your cards, you lose the game. Which actually is a really good way to handle the no keeping count of stuff. If your physical cards are your life, then when you run out of cards, you lose. You don't have to keep track of anything. That's really good. I like that. There's something in that. Other stuff we've got. This was Chaos Heroes. This was just a rip-off of Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not going to pretend it wasn't. Okay, there was then Elementals, which I do really like the element aspect of things. I think even though that's in Chaos Galaxy, that is something that I really like about Chaos Galaxy, the sort of different planets and the lore behind them. For sure. Old versions of Little Dudes, which just has the simplest gameplay ever, is quite sweet, but not the direction I would like to go for this game. And that kind of brings me to the game Evolvers, which I think has a lot of potential as a game idea. I made it when I was about 15. These are some of the old cards. but I'm going to talk about it more. Evolvers was a game that had 3 types of cards: Protectors, Effectors, and your Evolvers. You'd make a deck from your Effectors and Protectors and keep your Evolvers separate with your level 1 at the top of the pile. You draw 5 cards from your deck and take turns to play cards and attack each other's Protectors. Protectors were kind of like pawns in chess, and your Evolver was like the king. Killing a Protector doesn't really mean anything, but if your opponent had no Protectors on the board, your Protectors could attack their Evolver. And if your Protector's punching stat was bigger than your opponent's Evolver's health, that Evolver would die, causing it to evolve into the next stage, which was a tougher, leveled up Evolver. And this process went on until you had killed up to your opponent's stage 5 Evolver. If you killed their stage 5 Evolver, you won the game. It's simple, and I think these quick to grasp mechanics have answered our first challenge, which is no keeping count of stuff. Also, having an Evolver is like your avatar. It's something you can connect to, and I really think it helps players make a connection to the game if there's this one creature that you've got to protect, and that's like your mascot. The game also had some really cool archetypes that are still seen in Chaos Galaxy, really. The Bubbos, the Weathermen, the Animex, which were my personal favourite. Might have to bring these guys back. And the Evolvers were cool as well. People just like looking at stuff that evolves. That's, I think, one of the big reasons why Pokemon's so popular. The old Evolvers does raise a lot of problems, though. I made it when I was 15, and it's not a very cohesive TCG, and there's a lot of questions unanswered. What's stopping me just using all the game's most powerful Protectors? Why do Evolvers have attack stats when they can't attack? Why do all the names end in "or", like Protector, Evolvor, Effector, and the later names Surprisors? And why the hell is this Pogo Stick character one of the most powerful cards in the game? All these questions are going to need to be answered if I'm to make a somewhat cohesive TCG. But for now, I want to get something physical onto paper and get into some very basic gameplay. So for the next step, I just started writing a very simple set of rules. So I'm kind of keeping the rules the same as the original Evolvers, and I'll just change 1 or 2 rules every time I play so I can really see what works. The main new change here, though, is Protectors now have a level between 1 and 6. You're going to roll a dice to add that luck element, and you'll be able to play a Protector from your hand whose level matches or is lower than the dice roll. If you roll a 4, you can play a level 4 Protector or lower. I'm just going for 1 number stat rather than an attack and health kind of stat. Keeps things simpler and means that Evolver's stats just mean health and the power stat doesn't affect anything. And then we've got some further questions that I'm going to answer later down here. But basic rules: kill your opponent's Evolver using your Protectors and you win the game. The reason my hair is shorter here is because I started the game and made this footage a couple of months ago. Okay, so I've built some decks, and this is draft 1 of Evolvers, the new TCG. Got my handmade Evolvers from stage 1 to 5. So these are all level 1 creatures with low stats, and then working their way up to the most powerful 6 level creatures, which obviously need to roll a 6 to be able to play. I'm trying these ones with the general lower level sets, lots of level 2s and 1s, and then if we go over to the other deck I've made, this has a much higher power level, so 6, 5s and 4s, and then very few like 1s and less 2s. I'm just going to do some very quick play testing for this dice roll game mechanic. So let's say 5 cards. Got a decent mix there, that's good. So roll the dice. We've got 4, so that means I could play any 4 or lower creature. Guess to make the most out of the roll, we'll go with this 4. I am thinking, do I make it so that could be, say, a 1 and a 3? Let's try that. Run around here, and then knocking my camera, but it's player 2's turn with their aggro deck. So, roll 6. Ooh, we got a 6. Okay, here's a problem. I can play like 3 cards. I don't think that. I think it should be like, you're allowed to play multiple cards, but max 2. We'll go for 2 3s. Let's say we can attack. These guys would kill each other. This guy would kill him, and then passes to my opponent's turn. It's going to be like resources and stuff that will make this, but I'm just seeing if the concept works in its basic form. So draw a card, Roll 5, getting some high rolls today. I think the best play here, because I want to get over that, is to just play the 5 and then kill that crunk. Back over here. Draw. Roll, I've got a 2. Okay, that's really not good. All I can play is that. I'm starting to see a flaw. I'll draw a card. Roll, that's a 4. Okay, so this is going to kill an evolver here. Kill that. Then use my Space Patrolman, kill their stage 1 evolver. So that'll go to the back, upside down, and they're on stage 2. Now it goes to the other player's turn. And the sort of comeback ability here is going to be pretty low. If I draw there, I know there's no abilities, but this seems like I'm just not going to be able to get out of this situation. I've rolled a 3. So I guess the best I can do is put up some defenses like that. Definitely cannot take out anything with a roll like that. Draw. Roll. A 1. Which sucks, but I can still kill both of them. Okay, 1s seem very bad. 4s, 5s and 6s seem very, very good. Let's draw. We'll just carry on. This just kind of went back and forth for about 20 minutes until the player on the left won without a single one of their evolvers being killed. So it's a proof of concept that proved the game doesn't really work, but I still want to try out this balancing mechanic thing, which I think can solve the issue. Okay, I think I've seen enough there. It was at this moment when I had an amazing realization. I'm going to scrap this boring, linear, level 1 to 6 dice roll idea for protectors that just meant if you roll more 6s you win, and change it so that the stage of your evolver directly affects the level of protector you can play. A player would still roll a dice at the start of their turn, but then add the result of that dice roll to their evolver's stage. Meaning that if you were winning still on an unscathed stage 1 evolver, the strongest protector you could play is 1 for your evolver's stage, plus 6, your maximum possible dice roll, so a level 7 protector is the strongest you could play. If you were losing, say on your stage 4 evolver, close to being fully killed, your chances at the dice roll mean you could play a 4 plus 6, a stage 10 protector, thus creating a loser's advantage, and bam! Balancing mechanic. Let's go ahead and try this out. Okay, so I was going to try and fit 2 full game playthroughs into this video, but I think it's nice to just show the progression of like 1 playtest per video, then I make the changes, then in the next episode show you what those changes look like in a game. This video has also been a lot of just game theory and just floating ideas about, which might not be that entertaining, so I want to get some physical stuff on camera and show you the first artwork for the game. I'll go into more depth in the next video about my thinking process behind the art style, because there's a lot of thought gone into that. I don't know why, in every game I make, this character, Manflacky, is always card number 1, so I'm not going to break tradition now, and he's the first illustration for the game. Very quickly, my thinking is the luck dice element really makes the game feel more playful than Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic the Gathering or Chaos Galaxy, my old game, so I want the art style to be more fun to reflect that, and limiting myself to like this small artwork box will mean I make art more efficiently, because I'm going to need to make a lot in quite a short period of time. And I'll have to use simple shapes and bright colours and bold lines to make things stand out. And I honestly think this makes for better art. Trading cards are so small, and this old version of Manflacky loses a lot of detail, whereas everything on this new version, on the worst card template ever, is so much bolder. So more artwork to come, but here's a little sneak peek for episode 2. And it's nice to have another iteration of Manflacky to add to his timeline. That's very exciting. And that's it. That's part 1 of me making a new TCG from scratch. This is what the cards looked like at the start of the video, and this is what they look like now, plus 1 Manflacky, which I didn't print out because my printer's broken. But hopefully that'll be fixed for episode 2. And yeah, to sum up, got ourselves a direction for the rules, a direction for the vibe of the game, and made a start with artwork, which there's going to be a lot more of in episode 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've put a lot of effort into it. And I'm going to continue the series in the same sort of style. Hopefully episode 2 will be less conceptual and more actual trading cards you can see on the paper. But everything's very up in the air at this point. But really excited for the direction of the game, and hope you guys are too. Please, please, please support the game. Like this video. I really want this series to get a bit more traction. that people can follow along with. Follow me on Instagram at Chaos Galaxy TCG. If you want to check out any of my old TCGs that I looked over in this video, there'll be links to that series in the description too. Let me know what you'd like to see more of, if there was any particular part of this video you enjoyed, any bits you didn't like, anything you'd like me to explore more, or any thoughts on how I can make the game better. You know, this is such a work in progress. The comment section on YouTube is really going to be helping me out a lot as I make this game. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video please. I really want this series to help pick up a new audience for the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.